In the midst of a bloody war, where each day brought new losses and grief, two peoples, divided by past conflicts, clashed on the battlefield. Snow softly fell, covering the ground, but it did little to soften the hatred fueled by both sides. During this tumultuous time, Vanessa, a young nurse, hurried to the hospital where she worked. She was losing her friends and witnessing the suffering of soldiers from both sides. Yet her heart was filled with compassion, and she believed in the necessity of healing despite the chaos surrounding her. Luke was a soldier on the other side. Fighting for his land and loved ones, he was filled with ideals and willing to sacrifice himself. During a fierce battle, he was injured and captured by his comrades. In the hospital, realizing that his life was in danger, Luke began to question the meaning of everything happening: the war, the hatred, and what it all meant for him and his people. Their paths crossed when Vanessa discovered that Luke was among the wounded. In her eyes, he was not an enemy, but simply a person who had lost much, just like her. Part 2. Developing relationships. At first, their relationship began with caution and misunderstandings. Vanessa helped him primarily as a nurse, only faintly realizing that these moments were the beginning of a profound feeling. Luke, though he was the enemy, could not take his eyes off her kindness, while his attachment to the people he was supposed to protect lingered behind her like a shadow. Every moment spent together deepened their understanding of each other. They talked about life before the war, dreams that had been suppressed. Vanessa introduced Luke to the world of art and literature, while he shared with her the songs of his people, filled with hope and spirit. In those quiet hours, they formed a strong bond, a refuge from the horror around them. This was one of those friendships that doesn't lead to anything else. But here, love began to emerge. It became a true escape for them, a symbol that life still goes on, even amid wars. Part 3. Conflict and choice. However, in this beautiful reality, many dangers lurked. Vanessa and Luke understood that their feelings could not remain unnoticed. Their families, friends, and comrades were all outside the hospital, fueling their hatred for one another. Ultimately, they found themselves in a situation where love stood in the way of their duties and loyalty to their own. One evening, while Vanessa and Luke were gazing at the stars together, they realized they needed to make a decision. Vanessa could be expelled from the city for her connection with the enemy, and Luke could be sent to the front. They decided that there must be a place where they could be together, where no one would care about their origins. Considering all possible options, they decided to run away. It was a risky move, but they felt they could not afford an unexpected separation. Their dreams of a life away from war were becoming increasingly real. Part 4. Separation and struggle. But fate had other plans. On the eve of their escape, a new wave of violence erupted, and Luke was captured by the enemies. Vanessa's heart broke with fear and helplessness. She could not bear the thought that their love was on the verge of ending. Determined, Vanessa used her knowledge and connections to try to save Luke. She became a spy, gathering information about the camp where he was held. Every night, she whispered his name, hoping he could hear her wherever he was, and would not lose faith. Part 5. Rescue and New Hope. Eventually, Vanessa managed to infiltrate the prison as her team made brave attempts to enter the camp. Every step was dangerous, but her love for Luke gave her strength. When she saw him in a cell, weakened and emaciated, her heart ached, but she resolved that they could overcome this together. During their touching reunion, Luke tenderly said, "If we are together, nothing can break us." Vanessa vowed to do everything possible to free him. She devised a plan, risky, but the only way for them and their peoples. With their united spirit, they managed to escape, but that was just the beginning. What happened on their path compelled them to face even greater challenges than before. However, it was their courage that led to change. Part 6. A symbol of hope. Luke and Vanessa became symbols of hope for their peoples. The story they shared replaced hatred and prejudice with understanding and unity. Every citizen saw them as living proof that love could overcome long-standing contradictions. Despite the hardships, their love proved to be stronger than anything. People needed a story like theirs to encourage and unite them. Ultimately, their feelings could become a new beginning for both peoples, a symbol that love could break down any walls, and that shared humanity was stronger than political barriers. Thus, the story of Vanessa and Luke became known. It inspired others to seek peace and mutual understanding, even when hearts were filled with pain and loss. As a result, they not only united their hearts, but also ushered in a new era for their peoples, where love truly became stronger than enmity